guys want to hear that truth about Kamala Harris? Kamala Harris is a phony who caters to whatever audience is in front of her. I don't know if you saw this, but earlier this week, look up the clip. She went down to Georgia and started talking with a fake Southern accent. I'm serious. Now, what the hell was that all about? Kamala Harris grew up in Canada. They don't talk like that in Vancouver or Quebec or wherever she came from. Doesn't matter. It's the same new liberal policies, but a different accent, whoever she's talking to. Now, on November 5th, she can go back to using her San Francisco accent because we are going to send her packing and we're going to elect Donald Trump president of the United States.
You can say what you want to say about Donald Trump, but you cannot deny that he is consistent. And I, for one, appreciate consistency. Love him or hate him, he's the same guy. In every rally, in every speech, in every interview, in every appearance, you know what you're going to get. You might love what you're going to get. You might despise what you're going to get. But you know he's going to be consistent. You know he's going to be Donald Trump. But you can't say the same thing for Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris shapeshifts and forms into a new person depending on what crowd she's in front of, depending on what agenda she is planning on pushing. No one really knows who Kamala Harris is because we've gotten so many different versions of Kamala Harris, but we've only gotten one version of Donald Trump. And in my opinion, that's something that I'm looking for. I want to know what I'm going to get. I don't want a surprise in a box. You know, I like surprises, but I don't like surprises for president. And, you know, I say that knowing that if Kamala Harris does become president, it won't be a big surprise that we're going to get the same BS that we got under Biden. But I'm talking about her more specifically as a person. She shapeshifts. You know, they've been calling her a chameleon lately, and I understand why. And even looking beyond politics, I feel people like this who put on a mask and change their mask depending on who they're interacting with. I feel like people like this are more dangerous and unpredictable than people who are consistent. Because if you're not willing to even be true and honest to yourself, if you're not honest enough to present your true self, then why should I believe that you're going to be honest about anything else? And if the right person, if the right powerful group of people enter into the chat and you need to shapeshift in order to benefit whatever agenda they have, what would you be willing to do? How far would you go? Would you sell out the American people even more than you already have? I think she will. But let's listen to a little bit more of what J.D. Vance had to say.
Now, after covering up for Joe Biden's incompetence for 3.5 years, this is a scandal from both the Democrats and the media. Now they're gaslighting us about Kamala Harris's radical record. The media likes to portray her all of a sudden. She's a sensible moderate. That's what they say. Now, the same media that told us for 3.5 years Joe Biden, who couldn't finish a sentence, was Albert Einstein, now they tell us Kamala Harris is Abraham Lincoln. But anyone who is too blind to see Biden's incompetence, or more likely, too dishonest to admit it, is not fit to serve as our commander-in-chief. And the Democrat Party bosses, they've decided to install Kamala Harris as their new nominee. But think about this. She has not received a single vote for President of the United States. Now, the media calls this a coronation. I think we'd call it a coup. And in America, we don't crown our leaders. We vote for them. Now, I'm going to the border tomorrow, and her record of disaster is clear. 500,000 kids have been trafficked by the Mexican drug cartels because of her policies. Hundreds of thousands of our citizens are dead from fentanyl overdoses because of her policies. Hardworking Americans cannot afford groceries because of her policies. Now, the media wants to call her a moderate, but here's a fact check for the fake news. Kamala Harris was the most liberal senator in the entire United States Senate. She is a dangerous San Francisco liberal, and thanks to the people in this room, she is never going to be the president of the United States of America.
You know, this is a huge detail that a lot of people are overlooking. And people within Kamala's party, they're overlooking the fact that, as J.D. Vance said, she didn't get a single vote. No one voted for her to be in this position. She was selected, not elected. They kind of skipped and bypassed the democratic process, and we had, Biden stepping down late. And I don't want to be too much of a conspiracy theorist here, but I feel like a lot of this was like gymnastics. I feel like a lot of this was a bunch of nonsense in order for them to install who they wanted to be the nominee, instead of, it being up for debate. Instead of, other people getting the chance. Because in reality, they did not want RFK Jr. to get they didn't want him to get a shot. Because they know that RFK is way more popular than Kamala. Kamala, if people had a say-so, if Americans had a say-so, hell, if Democrats had a say-so, Kamala Harris would not be the nominee. It would most likely be RFK Jr. But they didn't want that, okay? And just like with Hillary, Hillary was selected. Biden selected. So here's where we're at now. And I do believe that a lot of this flippity-floppity BS we've seen is their way of keeping RFK out of the situation, because Kamala would have never stood a chance. But they're playing unfair, and they got more tricks up their sleeve, as I keep saying. So who knows what to expect moving forward. We just know to expect a lot of shady stuff. And if you think that the last couple of weeks or the last couple of months have been crazy, just wait until the election. Just wait until the results come in. I don't know if America is ready. I don't know if America will survive this election, just to be honest. But for now, let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell. And if you find yourself getting too worked up by all of this, remember, it's just political cinema.